Hey everyone, quick note before I get into the news. I've had a lot of questions in the comments over the past few weeks about where you can get this awesome, amazing Breath of the Wild jacket. Yes, I just spun around for you guys because there's a cool symbol on the back. I will have information on that at the end of the video. Let's get right into the news today, and that is that we have a report. The NPD report doesn't technically release until next week. And last month, if you remember, I posted out a leak of the NPD report that I got a little chastised for because people didn't think it was real. Turned out it was 100% legitimate. However, this time around, I think you're not going to have a problem believing me. Not only because Switch actually won the month of December, and anytime it's a positive report on Nintendo, no one seems to doubt me. But because this actually comes from someone at Microsoft. In fact, this comes from a tweet from Aaron Greenberg, who works at Microsoft. He is like the head of Xbox marketing. And he says, was just trying to thank folks for supporting us and the incredible success following the launch of Xbox One X. But yes, Xbox outsold the PlayStation 4 in December for Gen 8 consoles, according to NPD data. While Nintendo also had a great month, as Switch had most overall units. So yes, according to Aaron Greenberg, who works at Microsoft, Nintendo sold the most amount of units for Switch in December in comparison to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They led the market in total unit sales. And I kind of noted this back when I was talking about the NPD report for November, that even though Nintendo fell into third place, Nintendo traditionally has bounced back months in December. Nintendo has traditionally, with like the first year of a console release, if they don't finish number one in November, they bounce back and get number one in December. And does really any of this matter? I know there's a lot of fanboys out there that are going to want to puff out that chest right now and be like, yeah, Switch is number one! But, I mean, it really doesn't matter in terms of that. Why these sales matter, why it matters that Nintendo bounced back in December, is it showed the momentum for Switch hasn't slowed down. There was some fear that because it only sold around 800,000 units in November, which is a really, really high month, but lower compared to the competition, that maybe it would drop back down to like the 200,000 range in December and just keep sinking from there, especially in January here, where we don't really have any major games. We have like Lost Sphere and some other cool indie games. And stuff like that, but there's no major third-party or Nintendo release. So there was fear that the momentum, rose really, really fast, hit the Odyssey levels, maybe went a little bit higher, and then now it's kind of nosediving. That doesn't seem to be the case. They won December, and who knows? They might even win January. Nintendo has had the Switch at the top of the sales charts in North America for 7 of the past 9 months now. And if you want to doubt Aaron Greenberg, you can go right ahead. He's sourcing the NPD data, which is already compiled. I know a lot of people think, oh, nothing's official until the NPD report comes out. Companies have access to the NPD report before it goes public. I've said this before, the NPD report's not for us. It's for companies like Microsoft, Nintendo, and analysis groups that are trying to help people figure out the general sales volume within the video game industry. In this case, the NPD actually tracks more than just video games, but just for this case. So yeah, if you don't want to trust a guy who heads up marketing and sales at Xbox Division, that's on you. I'm standing by Aaron Greenberg here. But yeah, it's just really, really cool to see this happen because I've said this before and I'll say it again. The point of caring about the sales of Switch isn't that they're number one. I don't really care that they're number one, outside of the fact that it does indicate that Switch is selling well. We don't have any exact numbers. Nintendo might not give us any exact numbers. But obviously if we get numbers from Xbox or PlayStation 4, we can extrapolate that, hey, well, Switch obviously sold better than that. So let's say Xbox One X sold 700,000 units in December. Obviously Switch sold more units than that, according to Aaron Greenberg. So that's always nice, but what we take away is that high sales for Switch and continued high sales for Switch is how we're going to get third-party AAA support at a continuous volume. Believe it or not, the first 10 or 11 months here of Nintendo Switch, the volume of third-party support isn't actually a lot different than what the Wii U got. Now, it's different in that we seem to be getting a high volume of support from Bethesda, who really wasn't all about the Nintendo platforms in the past. But we had better support, believe it or not, from Ubisoft and EA when it came to Wii U this early on in the console's life. Yes, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is absolutely fantastic. They're still releasing Just Dance. We did get FIFA. But we have to remember, for Wii U, at launch, we had not just FIFA, we also had Madden, quickly had Mass Effect 3, We ended up getting a late port, but a quality port of Need for Speed. They cut down the amount of online drivers you could have from 8 to 6 because of the limitation of the CPU, but the port itself was actually very, very competent. Ubisoft, meanwhile, not only gave us Rayman Legends, which, again, was supposed to be exclusive, and then because the Wii U was tanking in sales, got delayed and whatever, and then it ended up releasing on all systems, but whatever, we got that game on Wii U, so the Definitive Edition on Switch is just a straight port. And then you also got games like both like Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4. We got Watch Dogs. Granted, we got it late, but we still got it. Just like we're getting Wolfenstein 2 late, but we're still getting it. We also got games like, there's some other ones. Zombie U, that was console exclusive for a little while until obviously the fighter Wii U's tanking. Let's see if we can recover sales by bringing this to other platforms. So, yeah, Wii U actually had quite a bit of third-party support within its first 12 months, and then it just kind of nosedived. And it nosedived primarily because not only were those games not selling, the Wii U wasn't selling. And that's where I'm hoping that Switch bucks the trend. We obviously know that Switch at this point has likely outsold Wii U's lifetime-to-date sales worldwide, or if it hasn't, it will by the end of this current fiscal year. But even setting that aside, what we need to understand is that regardless of if multi-platform third-party games are selling well on Switch, Switch's continued rise in sales is going to mean that the sales potential for third-party AAA multi-platform games is going to be higher a year from now than it is today. When Switch is at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million units, third parties are going to continue to support it with high-quality AAA ports or high-quality AAA multi-platform games because they're going to see a sales potential there to take advantage of. That really didn't exist with Wii U. Because Wii U, kind of launched well, and then boom, it was like an instant nosedive. Those games really never had a chance to continue to sell well on the platform. Yes, we know Splatoon and Mario Kart and Super Mario 3D World and stuff sold well on Wii U, but that was because the only people that owned it were Nintendo fans. Whereas it feels, anyways, that Switch has a lot more gamers on it that aren't just Nintendo fans. Just look at the sales success of indie titles. They are selling incredibly well, and the only other platform that seemed to have this kind of viability for indie titles on the go was Vita, and I feel like a lot of the Vita audience has now kind of gone over to Switch and are now taking advantage of the several fantastic indie games. You can't really go, a day doesn't go by without a new indie developer or some sort of indie developer announcing on Twitter, oh my gosh, my indie game sold better on Switch than any other platform. Some of them selling better than all other platforms combined. Or some saying it sold better at a higher price at launch on Switch than it's selling right now during a Steam sale on the PC. There's lots of success stories here for indies, and if you are an indie developer and you haven't, tried to get your game on Switch, what's wrong with you? I understand Nintendo's kind of delaying things a bit, so you have to wait, but if you're not even attempting to put it on Switch, that's a problem. You need to get on this train now because you are leaving money at the table. Of course, make sure it's a good port. I think the most disappointing indie game of 2017 to me was Rime. They delayed it, which we thought was to make sure it ran well on Switch. We get it. It doesn't run well. A lot of gamers are, some people use that as evidence. Oh man, the Switch is just weak. When really, it's just not a well-optimized game. There's nothing going on in Rime that I haven't seen in other Nintendo games. I've seen it in the Wind Waker back on the GameCube. So it's one of those things where it's just not very well optimized, and apparently has performance issues on PlayStation 4 and Xbox as well, even on PC, kind of depending on your settings. So Rime, no offense to the Rime team, this game probably should have stayed, if you had the money anyways, should have stayed in the incubator a little longer, especially on Switch, to get it right. Just like Yooka-Laylee. Yooka-Laylee, by the time it released on Switch, whether or not you liked the game, was running extremely well, and they waited to make sure they did it right instead of just getting it out the door as fast as they can, knowing it would have poor performance on the platform. And it's funny, because when it came out, it actually had a patch in it that other versions of the game didn't have yet, so technically at launch it ran better on Switch than the other platforms. Of course, I think by now they released the patch on other platforms, so now it's running well everywhere. But yeah, just really exciting stuff is happening on Switch. Please don't try to grab this evidence as yeah, screw you, Sony, or yeah, screw you, Microsoft. None of that matters. I don't care about the wars. I care about sales success for Nintendo, leading to us getting more games. Anyways, if you were wondering how to get this jacket, I actually got this from Merchoid. I've had it for over a year. I wear this. It's one of my most worn jackets. I wore it more than my Nintendo Prime sweatshirt that actually wore out. I wore it more than some Green Bay Packer stuff and Bucs stuff I have that's also worn out, and it's not wearing out. It's not fading at all. When I'm touching the logo here, it feels the exact same as like on this side. It did a really good job of pressing this stuff into here. You can get it at Merchoid. Now Merchoid is an online place. An online place. They sell officially licensed merchandise. This is officially licensed from Nintendo. They sell them basically worldwide. There are specific countries out in Europe they might not ship to due to international laws and stuff like that, but they essentially ship everywhere. They obviously ship here to the United States. It is expensive. It's $54.99, but it's official merchandise. It doesn't really cost any more than official merchandise would at, say, the Nintendo New York store. And it obviously is lasting really well. It's gone through several washes. I wear it every other day. It's amazing quality. There's also a female version that is specifically like it kind of tailors in the sides a little bit. It's orange. It's got like an orange design instead of the gold. And then what's really cool and different about that one is that on these pockets down here, they actually have an orange design on the pockets as well. It looks fantastic. I'll put an image up so you can check that out. If you would like to purchase this or purchase the female version, there will be links to affiliate links down in the description for you to do that. Obviously, every purchase of it goes to also support us here. So thank you so much. I should note that they do run a size small if you are from the United States. So if you normally wear a large, you should get an XL. If you normally wear an XL, you should get a double XL. And if you normally wear a double XL, I'm going to tell you now, you should probably pass. I'm wearing a double XL right now. This is as large as it gets. They don't have triple X or quad X. So, yeah, I'm sorry. And you can complain to Merchoid if you want, or to Nintendo. That probably helps provide the merchandise. Nothing I can do about it. But just so you know, for the female and male versions, you want to go a size up from your normal. Anyways, I am Nathaniel Ruffajans from Nintendo Prime, and if you like this video, you know what to do. And if you dislike the video, hit that dislike button, subscribe for more content, and you can support us for as little as $1 a month on Patreon at patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. Do it because on Patreon, Prime things are happening there. Plus, Prime things are happening here. All right, folks. I'll catch you in the next one. I have too many outro phases now. Prime things are happening here. You know what's really weird too? Where's my Switch? I know this is like a weird, 20 seconds, click on the thing, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Where the heck is my Switch? I honestly don't know. I was playing it last night. It was 2 a.m. Trying to think about what I'm doing for the live stream tonight. Q&A. I mean, where is that dang Switch? I gotta find it. Huh.